Narration of Chapter 6 of the epic dream saga of Ultimate Man, a book written by Tom Bijl, narrated by Tyler Moore. Chapter 6 The Fifth Dream The Old Man in White. In the fifth dream, the world was at war and chaos reigned. The air was filled with the sounds of whistling bullets, explosions, and the cries of the wounded. In the midst of the turmoil, I found myself screaming at people to wake up and make peace. I explained how this could be achieved, but my words fell on deaf ears. Anger and defiance greeted my pleas, and people turned their backs on me, plunging themselves further into the destructive conflict. Disgusted by the violence and the stubbornness of people, I decided to seek solace in a higher realm. I searched for the invisible staircase that would lead me to another world, maybe a better world. As I found the stairs, I start running. For a moment, I stopped to glance back at the earth, which was now far away. As I ran, I noticed that I had gone further than before and was now in uncharted territory. Suddenly, a voice cried out in disbelief. Startled, I turned to see an old man wearing white robes and emanating a bright light. He looked at me with amazement and said, "This is impossible! When can a man run the divine stairs like this?" Perplexed by his words, I asked him what he meant by divine stairs. The old man's eyes shone with recognition, and he said, "You must be the chosen one." He bowed down before me, and I was puzzled by his reverence. I asked him why he was bowing down before me, a stranger he did not even know. He replied, "Even though your knowledge is limited to your father's teaching, I know to whom I am speaking. That is why I bow down before you." I gazed upon the old man, his robe as white as the purest snow, and he spoke to me with a voice that echoed through the ages. "Listen and heed my words, for they shall be engraved upon your soul for eternity," he said. "The serpent forever present never repents for its sins, but say I am, the ultimate man, Alpha and Omega to all men, the foundation and the completion, the darkness and the light of Zion. I have always been and always will be, and the ultimate goal is my destiny, to serve the Creator of eternity." As I listened, awestruck, the old man continued, "Ultimate Man is the savior of women and men. Present is the serpent who never repents, but ultimate man will defeat the serpent of men. Desperate, the serpent twists the world to an end, but its time is coming to an end. Ultimate Man breaks the teeth of the serpent, decimates the chains of bondage, and destroys the temple of the devil age." With each word, the old man's power grew, and the ground shook beneath my feet. "Roots all evil out of the ground, of all the wicked that he found, judge and punish them all. As ultimate man speaks to all, they will mourn for forgiveness to all. As they were deceived to believe they rule all, their deeds, unforgivable judgment is done. Defeated, the serpent struggles in vain. All evil power is gone and screams in pain. Only the good and righteous remain." And he continued, "Ultimate Man throws them all into the abyss. As they fall, they are destroyed to bliss. All rejoice but also cry for the lost. But Ultimate Man will wipe their tears, as they are in heaven and hosts, in glory, victorious forever and ever." The old man's words hung in the air, filling me with a sense of purpose and a drive to fight against the forces of darkness. I was still confused, but then I sensed great trouble brewing on earth. Everything was on fire and the world was being destroyed. I knew it was my duty to return and fight for my brothers and sisters. So, rather than walking back down the staircase, I leaped into the darkness and flew down to earth to save them. In the city, where the guards were strict and unforgiving, we had to find a way to infiltrate the tower, an enormous structure that seemed to reach up to the heavens, with its top so high that it was out of sight. From the outside, the tower looked flawless, its design impeccable, with no sign of any flaws or damage. However, as soon as we crossed the threshold, the inside was an entirely different story. It was chaos, an amalgamation of beings that were beyond anything we had ever seen. The inhabitants were not merely human, but rather a fusion of humans and animals, robots and cyborgs that made the place look like an experiment gone wrong. The walls were crawling with insectoid creatures, and serpent like beings slithered around in the shadows. The air was thick with the sound of whirring gears and electrical hums that echoed through the corridors. As we made our way deeper into the tower, we noticed that the people living there were not of their own free will. They were slaves, forced to live in this strange amalgamation of technology and biology, each one serving their purpose in the grand scheme of things. Some were slaves to the machine, their bodies fused with it, and others were slaves to their own twisted desires, their bodies transformed into grotesque versions of themselves. Despite the chaos, there was a sense of beauty to the tower, a sense of order that held everything together. The inhabitants were all working towards a common goal, and their purpose was clear, even if their methods were not. It was a place of wonder, terror, and confusion all at once, and we knew that we had to tread carefully if we were to find what we were looking for. We embarked on a quest to infiltrate the tower, a towering structure that is said to pierce the clouds and touch the heavens. It was a structure of wonder and awe, built with an impeccable design and architecture as if it was crafted by the gods themselves. As we approached the tower, we were met with a vast city that sprawled around the structure. The city was bustling with life, but there was a sense of tension in the air. The guards patrolled the area, keeping a watchful eye on every passerby. Our task was to blend in and sneak past the guards undetected. It was a daunting task, but we were determined to succeed. Upon reaching the tower, we were greeted with an awe-inspiring sight. The tower was humongous, stretching upwards into the sky. It seemed to have no top, as if it was reaching further than the eye could see. The tower was pristine and spotless on the outside, with a flawless design that left us mesmerized. However, as we made our way inside, chaos reigned supreme. The tower was filled with an assortment of creatures, from human hybrids, robots, cyborgs, to insect and serpent-like beings. The interior was a maze of corridors and rooms, each filled with its own dangers and surprises. Our goal was to blend in and gain access to the higher levels of the tower. With each level, the security grew tighter, and the creatures grew more mechanical and robotic. It was as if the tower was becoming more a machine that was a living cybernetic organism. Every level was a city in itself, with its own unique culture and environment. Each level had its own set of challenges that we had to overcome before we could proceed. We snuck our way through the tower, relying on our skills and wits to navigate the labyrinth structure. As we reached the middle of the tower, we had to resort to applying for jobs to gain access to the upper levels. It was a slow and tedious process, but we persevered. We gathered as much information as we could, mapping out the tower's layout and plotting our next move. Our quest for answers was long and arduous, but we were determined to succeed. The fate of the world depended on our success. We had to reach the top of the tower no matter the cost. The tower was filled with dangers and unexpected obstacles at every turn. We had finally reached the midsection, where the hybrids could go no further and only those of pure insect or robotic origin could continue. As Ultimate Man, I knew that in order to progress, we would have to abandon our guise and fight our way through. But little did we anticipate the ruthless and highly advanced cockroach soldiers that awaited us. Their hyper-technological weapons struck with precision, overwhelming our defenses. Together, the team fought relentlessly, combining their unique abilities and unwavering spirit to confront the insectoid armies. But as the battle raged on, the tide began to turn against us. The cockroach soldiers revealed their hyper-technological weapons, unleashing a devastating assault that caught the team off guard. Aja, in the midst of the chaos, suffered a severe injury, rendering her unable to continue fighting. Recognizing the dire situation, I made the difficult decision to retreat, knowing that regrouping and strategizing would be their only chance for victory. With Aja's severe injury, his titanium arms rendered immobile, I took it upon myself to carry my fallen comrade, my unmatched strength allowing me to bear the burden. Marinus Ingenious, the psychic powerhouse, utilized his mind power to provide a temporary shield, shielding the team from the scorching desert heat and offering some respite from our exhaustion. Using his mind powers, Marinus focused his psychic wave on Aja's injuries, alleviating some of the pain and providing temporary relief. Our respite was brief, for just as we regrouped. This was no coincidence. We had anticipated their arrival and prepared for the worst. It was then that we called forth Galman, the formidable transforming tank that would aid us in times of dire need. Galman unleashed a barrage of devastating cannon fire, turning the tide momentarily in our favor to cover our escape. But the battle was far from over. The insectoids fought back fiercely, unleashing a barrage of counterattacks. Galman, valiantly defending us, sustained critical damage. We were left with no choice but to abandon our trusted ally as we fled into the unforgiving desert beyond the towering fortress. The desert, a place where even the cockroaches dared not venture, greeted us with its harsh and unrelenting conditions. Sandstorms whipped across the barren landscape, obscuring our vision and draining our strength. Despite our fatigue and the weight of defeat, we pressed on. I, as Ultimate Man, took it upon myself to lead the way, carrying Aja and relying on my unmatched strength to bear his weight. Marinus, known as Ingenious, tapped into his psychic mind power, using his abilities to create a temporary shield that shielded us from the scorching desert heat, offering some respite from our exhaustion. In the desolate and unforgiving desert, I, the embodiment of strength and determination as Ultimate Man, refused to succumb to weariness. My companions, battered and weakened, relied on my unwavering spirit to lead them through the arid wasteland. John, the hulking titan of indestructible tungsten, powered through his fatigue and transformed into his massive form once more. His incredible strength supported us, allowing the team to progress through the harsh terrain. Sylvana, the fearless shield maiden, stood steadfast at our side, wielding her mighty shield as a protector against the elements and any lurking threats. Jupe, the Dutch commando renowned for his bravery, showcased his tactical expertise, strategizing and coordinating the team's movements. With precise commands and swift actions, he ensured that every member played their part effectively, exploiting the desert's advantages and maximizing their chances of victory. Drawing upon his resilience, he motivated the team to keep moving forward, urging us not to succumb to our fatigue. Quan, the master of martial arts, used his discipline to conserve his energy, moving with purpose and efficiency, ready to defend his comrades if danger should arise. Rasputin, the brilliant Russian engineer, utilized his ingenuity to provide necessary inventions and solutions for survival in the barren desert. He modified my armor, the ultimate suit, to withstand the extreme conditions, ensuring our journey remained possible. And though Golman, the transforming tank, had been left behind, Rasputin's expertise allowed us to salvage some of its vital components, incorporating them into our survival gear. As we pressed on, the team encountered various challenges in our desperate bid for salvation. Sandstorms threatened to engulf us, and our visibility was reduced to mere inches. Vicious desert creatures emerged, seeking to prey upon our weakened state. But through sheer determination and unwavering resolve, we fought off these obstacles, battling with a combination of our individual skills and collective teamwork. Hour by hour, step by step, I carried my companions forward, refusing to let exhaustion claim them. Our journey seemed endless, but finally, on the horizon, we caught sight of an oasis, a glimmering mirage amidst the desolation. Energized by the promise of relief, the team found renewed strength to push forward. Reaching the oasis, we collapsed beside its refreshing waters, our bodies drenched in sweat and our lungs filled with life-giving air. The lush vegetation provided shelter from the scorching sun, reviving our spirits. We quenched our thirst and restored our energy, knowing that our ultimate mission to defeat the insectoid armies and their towering fortress was yet to be fulfilled. With renewed determination and a revitalized spirit, the team rested, preparing ourselves for the challenges that lay ahead. We had fought valiantly, enduring struggle and uncanny defeat, but our grand heroism and unwavering unity remained our greatest strength. Ready to face the insectoids once more, we stood tall, our eyes fixed on the towering fortress in the distance, knowing that our battle for victory had only just begun. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, we came upon a small body of water, surrounded by lush vegetation. We collapsed in exhaustion, relieved to have found refuge in this barren wasteland. As I lay down to rest, I felt a strange sensation wash over me, and I drifted into a deep sleep, and I woke up in the real world. If you'd like to read more, you can purchase the book on Etsy, The Epic Dream Saga of Ultimate Man. Your support helps me create more stories. Please remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and click the notification bell. Thank you once again for tuning in. The Epic Dream Saga of Ultimate Man. All illustrations and content are made by Tom Bijl. 3D Vision, all rights reserved. Kindly share this story with your friends and family. You can also consider purchasing the book as a gift for your loved ones. It makes for the perfect gift, complemented by its stunning illustrations. The power is in you.